December 10th, 1977. It's a day that many people in Bay City remember. I'm Jake Hamilton.
And I'm Andrew Dotson with the Bay City Times and MLive.com. On that bitter cold Saturday, 40 years ago, lights started flickering on the upper floors of the Winona Hotel at about 7 a.m. Smoke was seen about 15 minutes later, and soon flames had overtaken the top two floors of the building, which had been converted to apartments. Residents with no other options jumped from the third and fourth story windows. Some survived, others didn't.
When the day came to a close, 10 people had died. It remains the deadliest fire in Bay County's history. This past week, we spoke with first responders, journalists, and historians about that horrific day. This is what they had to say.
I'm Dick Van Ostrand. I was a staff photographer at the Bay City Times in 1977, December 10th of 77, when the Winona Hotel burned. I could just see the smoke pouring out of the building, and the fire apparatus was in position around the building, but then they were rescuing people off the ledges, and some of them had already jumped. If it had been much colder, we possibly could have had film break off inside the camera. There was one firefighter who was with the Frankenlust Fire Department who was here and had quite a full beard. And of course it was all covered with ice, and the gentleman who was sitting on the windowsill with the smoke billowing out back of him, waving his crutch to get attention. And when he came off the aerial ladder after they brought him down, he walked over to me and said, "Well, if I made it through Guadalcanal, I can make it through this." And I thought, what a tremendous attitude to have.
My name is Randy Badgerow. I worked as a EMT for Sanders Ambulance in Bay City, Michigan in 1977. We had cleared from another call. We saw the smoke, heard the sirens, and we thought, well, we'll come downtown and see what it is in case they need us, and also to gawk a little bit. But by the time we got to Columbus, you could see it was something big. We didn't know it was a Winona Hotel. That we knew some people that lived here, and we said, boy, I hope it's not the Winona Hotel. And as we got closer, we got quiet. As we were pulling up, we saw a man falling out of the side of the building and hitting the concrete sidewalk. As we came to a stop, turned on our lights, called our dispatcher, said, send everybody you can, and sat there for a second. To me, it was forever, but it was probably about 2 seconds. And then we jumped out and started going to work. My partner went around back. There were some civilians there that were helping get people out of the building. There's a big old dude that was helping everybody. His name, they called him Tiny. I heard him calling that, but he must have been about 6'3" or 4", about probably 350. But he was helping. I mean, those are the people that I really would like to see get recognized. Us professionals were there because we want to be. These were civilians that just wanted to help. And for an area like this, we had trained a lot. We had trained a lot with the fire department, police department. We weren't ready for this. There is no way. I don't know of any way you could be ready for this.
My name is Gene Laputri, and I was a patrol officer with Bay City Police Department. Actually, I was driving down the street, and I saw the smoke, so I called it in, and about the same time, the fire department was getting the calls. So went around to the front, and we went up to the second floor and started beating on doors and, telling everybody to get out. Went room to room, knocking on doors, and I was with a fireman where we found an older man in a room, so we got him out of there. And we heard people screaming for help, but the whole hallway was engulfed in fire, so we couldn't get to them. And then later on during the day, we heard that they found some bodies up there, so that kind of haunts you. So then I wound up getting outside, and that's when that gentleman was leaning out the window, looking like, where am I going? So I helped him get out of the window and onto the fire escape. Never knew who he was.
Well, I think one of the reasons that the Winona Hotel fire is so significant is it was recent enough that many people in Bay County and Bay City still remember the fire. It was a disaster. People lost their lives. It was a horrible situation. And I think an event like that really just has the ability to really touch base with everyone, kind of, reaches home with them.